Yeah. Yeah, 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 yeah. All right. We are live on YouTube. We are live on YouTube. How's everyone doing today? How are you all doing today? Today we're going to be talking about being yourself no matter what, even on social media. And I've got to say, it's a gorgeous day here in Redwood City, California. It's 70 degrees, the perfect weather. With a slight breeze, and I'm out and about on another walk with purpose, episode number 824. And again, today we're going to be discussing be yourself no matter what, even on social media. We've got a lot of great things to talk about regarding this topic. I'm also going to be answering any other questions you may have, within reason, of course. You know the usual ordeal around here. Any scumbags will be blocked immediately. Because that's the way we roll. We like to keep it professional over here as much as possible. Sometimes we do have our moments. But, we are a genuine organization over here at the GNA. GNA is short for Genuine Networking Association. I'm going to share a little bit more about that at the beginning of this show. I got a bunch of people entering the trail. So I'm just going to wait for people to pass on by. I hope you've all had a great day and a great week so far. The weekend is just about here. Well, it is here. It's after 5 o'clock Pacific time, so everyone is coming home. I got a chance to get out on an earlier walk tonight, even though the sun goes down now just slightly after 7 p.m. As you can see, the sun is still up there a bit. We got a little less than 2 hours of daylight. Eventually, I'm going to have to do these shows no later than 3 in the afternoon, or 3:30 at the absolute latest. So I'm trying to get used to that. Lots of great stuff going on. I took the day off yesterday just to relax with Dawn, and tonight her and I are going to have an early dinner, and we're going to watch some shows on the streaming services and just relax a bit. Now we're just going to wait a little bit longer for some people to pop on in, and then we'll just get right to it. Whew. When you take a day off and you're used to running full steam, and you slam on the brakes, you take that day off, and then you relax. And you come back out on the job again like I am today after a day off. You still feel so relaxed. It's like, oh man, I love what I do and I enjoy this, but should I have taken another day off? Maybe so, but hey, that's all right. I'm here now. But yeah, besides taking a day off, you know, yeah, there's lots going on for Don and I. Good stuff in our personal life. Medical stuff is being handled, and Dawn is doing great each and every day. She's doing fantastic, and she says hello to everyone. If you haven't been around in a while, Dawn is more than likely going to be taking the rest of the year off from at least doing live streams on YouTube. We might get some pre-recorded content done, between now and the end of the year, but don't count on it. I'm leaving that up to her. But she's doing fantastic, nonetheless. But yeah. Like I said, lots going on in our personal life, but everything else, there's not a whole lot of new stuff going on, just the same old, and continuing to plug away. I'm building some websites behind the scenes. I'm working on, Modern Man Resources, which, if you go to the website, modernmanresources.com, it'll redirect you to modernmanresources.org, and it'll just say coming soon. But that is something I've just been working on for a while, and I'm still working on it, looking to build a platform where men can have a forum to say what they want to say. That's, not going to be overly regulated like on YouTube. Don't get me wrong. For the most part, I agree with the way YouTube does things. But I want to, be able to, give men the opportunity to share a little more than they can out here. Obviously, we're still going to moderate the site once it's up. But, that's something that I'm working on behind the scenes. There will be a forum. I'm also working on some stuff for the GNA Women's Mastery and all that stuff. So there's just, a lot going on. At some point, we're probably going to give women a forum as well, too. So there's a lot of stuff that we're focusing on to, better help men and women navigate this crazy modern digital world that we all live in. So, I've been working on that stuff for a while. I just wanted to update you folks that I'm still working on it when possible, and then in between going to doctor's appointments with Dawn, and then I've got some other side gigs that I've been working on that I'm not ever going to mention publicly because I'm just not going to. So, just taking life one day at a time. Grabbing life by the horns and just taking it one day at a time. I'm 50 years old and my lady's 49. And we're getting up there, but, we're still, they're still kicking, taking the licking, and we keep on ticking. My aunt got out of the hospital today. She had surgery. I'm not going to go into too great detail, but she's doing well. And my mother's actually going to be caretaking for her. And so my mother's going to be spending a lot of time with my aunt, and uh, Don and I and my brother, we're gonna we're gonna go visit our aunt. We're gonna give her a couple, 2, 3 days to just, you know, just kind of relax and have my mom take care of her, and then we're gonna go and see her. My aunt Lisa's a wonderful, wonderful woman. I have a lot of respect for her. So, you know, um, yeah, just a little bit of this, a little bit of that. So, anyway, let's get to episode number 824 of Walking with Purpose Live here from the San Francisco Bay Trail here at Bear Island in Redwood City. So, the topic today is be yourself no matter what, even on social media. Be yourself no matter what, even on social media. I'll tell you, the beginning of this year, in 2024, I started to witness something I hadn't seen since the inception of YouTube. And the inception of YouTube is almost 20 years ago. It's like 18 years ago when the platform was started. And started to see a lot of creators quit YouTube. And I was just wondering what was going on. Were they getting burned out? Were people just getting tired of their content? Like, what was really going on, right? Why are they giving up when they've been so successful? And I haven't reached full success yet. I haven't even reached half success yet, or a third success yet. Yet I create all the time. You know, what is going on, right? And as the beginning of the year went on, now we're in September, 9 months later, I saw a lot more videos of YouTubers leaving, and I also heard many creators, including one of my favorite creators, Sean Cannell, that runs the Think Media channel, who interviews a lot of other, YouTubers that started out, with a small channel, and then they grew their channel to 50K, 100K plus subscribers, right? And a lot of people are starting to say there's been a major content shift on the YouTube and the internet. People no longer want, they don't want the fake stuff. They don't want the scripted entertainment like the Mr. Beast and all that. Sure, Mr. Beast's still going to have an audience. He probably always will. But his numbers have even gone down a little bit. Not to the point of where he's not making good money anymore. He still is. But more and more people in 2024 and beyond want real content. They want to be able to relate to what someone says, to what someone is going through, right? They want to be able to relate to you regarding similar hobbies, interests, etc., right? And I've always been raw and real. And there have been many other channels that have been raw and real. But the raw and real channels never seem to have gotten the big traction like the fake channels, the drama channels, or the scripted channels like the Mr. Beast channels and stuff like that, right? McMadden, real content is what it is all about. Yeah, exactly. So I started to, when I started hearing about, the shift heading towards real content in, you know, January, February or so, right around that time, by March, I had consumed a lot of content, hearing similar things from many different creators. And then I also heard the real reason why a lot of creators started to leave the platform. Their numbers started going down, their sponsorship started going down. They started making far less money because people were not really into or are not really into fake content anymore. People want to connect with people that are raw and real. The internet now, I mean, I would never completely replace the real world friendships with the internet. But whether you like it or not, it's kind of happening that way to a certain extent. And because a lot of people don't have a whole lot of time because of the hours they work and the job they do, when they come out on platforms like YouTube and other, platforms like Twitter and Twitch and all that, they're looking to connect with people in a real way, because until their time frees up where they can have a personal life or a social life in the real world, the internet is their real world. So they're looking for something real. And channels that don't create real stuff, at this point right now, from what I've heard, have lost at least 50%, in most cases more than 50%, of the revenue they were making just a year ago or a few years ago. Now, some of these creators, they're trying to hang on and create the same content they've always created. Some of these creators, like I said, continue to make the same type of content, and they try to do new things or amp things up and try to change things up, and they're not getting the traction they used to get, and that's across the entire YouTube platform, right? And I've said this in the past this year, and I'll say it again now, that it's never too late to shift. It's never too late to pivot and just create good, wholesome, positive, uplifting content that motivates and inspires people. That's what people want more so nowadays. And, when I saw this shift happening, I started to realize it's only a matter of time before I finally get my chance to hit a bigger audience and help more people. And we've grown a little bit this year, not a whole lot we've grown, but there's far more growth ahead. Hi there, I'm back on YouTube after being off a year, enjoying your hiking there, beautiful scenery. Yeah, just taking a walk. Thank you so much. Thank you. Appreciate it. Yeah, I mean, I don't know if I could take a year off of YouTube. I love doing this. I love helping people. It's my purpose. I mean, if I had to do it, I would. My family comes first, and I do have other priorities, but this is what I enjoy doing the most. But yeah, I'm just out here on a walk. This isn't actually a hiking trail. It kind of looks like one, but this is the San Francisco Bay Trail. You can access it from different parts all around the San Francisco Bay, and once it's completed, they're gonna attach the entire trail as one big loop around the bay, which is gonna be about 500 miles long. And right now you have to access different points by, driving, so you can't walk this entire trail completely. But yeah, it's a flat trail that goes around the bay. But yeah, I mean, if you want to call it hiking, it's all good. But I used to do some really nice strenuous hikes, but since I started seeing Dawn, I haven't gone because she's not in the physical condition at this point, at least, to do them. And I don't even know if I would risk it once she's totally better. But once she gets better, I may be able to take a half day off and go hiking with some friends, and I can take some more videos from some real trails like I used to. That's the best kind of job if you love what you do. Yeah, absolutely. I do love what I do. That's why I don't give up on this. I've been doing this for over 6 years now, closer to 6.5 years, and this is what I love doing the most. Especially these walks, It's therapeutic, it's kicking in those endorphins, the feel-good hormone, and staying as healthy and fit as possible. So, my best advice to all of you out there, online and offline, be yourself, no matter what. Don't try to be something you're not just because you think it's going to get you something you cannot earn or get otherwise, right? And that's how a lot of people are. They behave differently or pretend to be something that they're not. Just because, they don't have faith in themselves that they can earn things just being themselves, right? Hey, Pablo, how are you doing? What's going on, brother? Great to see you here. Anyway, let me see here. Give me a second. I'm just soaking in the fresh air. Do you ever do Lisi? Do you ever do walks in San Francisco? I visited there almost 30 years ago. I'm sure it's changed a lot. No, San Francisco hasn't changed a whole lot. It's just gotten more expensive. It's still dirty in many places, and there's more traffic there than there already was. So the traffic hasn't changed. It's just gotten even worse than it already was. And the cost has, in 30 years, the cost has more than quadrupled. It's 5-6 times more expensive to live there now than it was 30 years ago. But that's the same thing. That's pretty much happened all over the San Francisco Bay Area. I'm a half an hour south in Redwood City, if you didn't know. But yeah, I don't walk in San Francisco. It's just, it's too crazy to drive around there. It's hard to find parking. And if you can't find parking, you got to park a distance and pay like $30. Now it's probably like $40 or $50 for parking for 3 or 4 hours. So, it's just, it's a tourist trap is what it is, Those Raleigh streets were something else. What are Raleigh streets? Are you talking about like the cable cars or the trolleys, or are you talking about the hilly, rolly streets? The one-way streets? I'm not sure what you mean. Lots of one-way streets in San Francisco. The cable cars are still running there. Yeah, again, not much has really changed. Except the cost is like 6 times more expensive than it was 30 years ago. So, people still walking across the Golden Gate Bridge. They're still painting the Golden Gate Bridge constantly so it doesn't, doesn't corrode with the salt water. Yeah. Hilly, yes. Yeah. Yeah, that's why they have a neighborhood in San Francisco called Nob Hill. The home of Nob Hill Foods grocery store. I'm gonna do the whole trail today because I got plenty of time. So if you folks have any questions regarding, anything you may be struggling with personally or professionally, if you're new here, let me introduce myself to you folks. If this is your first time here, or the first time you and I are meeting, again, please allow me to introduce myself. My name is Elias Melas, but you can call me Eli for short, and I am the president and founder of the Genuine Networking Association, or GNA for short. Some of you haven't been here in a while, like Lisi, I believe is how you pronounce it. Probably know me from my former brand, which is no longer in existence. You probably remember the Coach Eli brand. This channel right here used to be Coach Eli 2 Authentic Live Streams. It is now GNA, which is short for Genuine Networking Association. GNA, Genuine Personal Development, right? So GNA 2, Genuine Live Personal Development, is this channel here, which used to be Coach Eli 2. The main channel that was Coach Eli, Elias Melas, used to be, that used to be Coach Eli, Elias Melas, is now GNA, Genuine Personal Development. That's the pre-recorded channel. It's a pre-recorded channel, but I'm doing live streams from the studio for a little while there, just to get some content on there because I haven't had time to do pre-recorded content in a while. But more pre-recorded content will be coming soon, very soon, within the next month or two. It's my first time chatting with you. My name is pronounced Lacey. I've listened to you while driving. Oh, Lacey. Okay, sorry about that. It's spelled differently. Are you Asian by any chance? Is that like an Asian spelling? Please forgive me if I got that wrong. That's just not the typical way to spell Lacey, but I know many different cultures spell their names differently. But thank you for chatting. Thank you for being here. Appreciate it. Second here. So yeah, any questions you folks have, personally, professionally, I'd be happy to answer your questions. Lacey says, my daughter is a creator in crafting designs. I help out with occasion. I don't know where the spelling comes from. I think my mom just wanted to be different. LOL. Hey, that's a great enough reason. Absolutely. No, that's cool. When I was growing up, Lacey, I didn't like my name. My name, Elias, Elias. I was like, what the fuck is an Elias? Right? I even told my parents I didn't use the F word because back in those days, you say the F word, you get grounded, or you get the belt from my dad, God rest his soul. But, I didn't like my name. I wanted to have a name like Jack or Trevor or Steve, right? And then people would tease me. They'd be like, what the hell is an Elias, right? When I was going to private, grammar school with some pretty prissy kids. I didn't know any better back then. Looking back, I know exactly why they behaved that way. They were prissy kids. I have a nephew named Eli. It was very popular in the 90s. Well, I was born in 73. I'm 50. Turned 50 this past December in 2023. I didn't like my name. And, all throughout grammar school and even high school, I didn't like my name. And I'll tell you what really changed. I started working for Costco Wholesale at age 20. After working at the movie theater for 4.5, I worked at a movie theater for 4.5 years up the road here in San Mateo, California. That's where the YouTube corporate headquarters used to be till they moved to San Bruno, a little further north of here, which is south of San Francisco. You know the area, Lacey, so you know where I'm talking about. But when I turned 20, I started working for Costco, and I met a really, really good guy that also liked computers, and he liked computers, and this guy was even more knowledgeable than myself on computers. And he started to call me Eli. He nicknamed me Eli. I had never gone by Eli. I'd always gone by Elias. He would call me Eli. And I'm like, fucking A, I like that. And fortunately, Jeff, I think it was about 12 or 13 years ago, ended up passing away. He had a very, very major drinking problem. He just he went through a lot growing up. He lost his father at a young age, and he was a fun guy to be around. But when he wasn't around people, he was very depressed. And he had bought a house in San Mateo, had a roommate there, and his roommate had gone out. And when he came back, his roommate came back, another guy, he found Jeff dead on the floor in the house. Now, I don't know what he died of. Could have been alcohol poisoning. Maybe his liver gave out. Maybe he overdosed on something. Who knows? But that's the guy right there that basically, he changed my life and how I felt about my name. And that also changed how I started to feel about myself. When you surround yourself, folks, with the right people, with good people, that's when you start to progress. When the right people are in your life that are down to earth, easygoing, and just want to be your friend, and they don't expect anything from you. They just like being around you. That's how Jeff was. And God rest your soul, Jeff. You're in a better place, probably hanging out with my dad right now. You guys are probably having a couple of beers together. And my dad, even though he did well, my dad liked the cheap beer. Hopefully, you're getting my dad some more quality beer. At least upgrade him to Corona or something like that. No more Bergie Light or Pabst Blue Ribbon, all that cheap-ass, nasty shit, you know. But that's what my dad liked. Anyway, it is what it is. It is what it is, you know. Hey, Tia, how you doing? Tia says, hey there, Eli. How's it going, Tia? It's great to see you here. I took the day off yesterday. I needed to take a day off. I was just swamped with other things and caught up and needed to get some rest. And I came back, started this show. It was a little rough at the beginning, but hey, we're kind of like sliding right into it right now. So good. How are you? Yeah, I'm doing well. I'm doing well. Thanks for asking. I remember my dad liked Pabst too. I guess your dad and my dad were a lot alike. They like cheap ass beer. Yeah. Well, you know, maybe that's why my dad probably made a lot more money than me. I mean, who knows? Maybe I'll make more one of these days. I mean, I've done well, but my dad did extremely well. It wasn't even the money. It's he just knew how to save money. I'm not saying I don't know how to save money. I do my best. But I just don't like cheap beer. I don't. It just doesn't taste good to me. To other people, it might taste like gold. It might taste like the top notch, whatever. Perhaps to him, might taste like Corona Extra. Who knows? We are at 37 minutes. Give me a second, I'll be right back. Welcome back. Tia says, my dad did too. I still like Pabst. I do like dark beer also. I'm not a big dark beer fan. I like light beer. But I don't drink nearly as much as I used to in my 20s. I just don't feel the need to drink as much. Back then it was just you hanging out with your friends, you go out, you have a drink, it's a social thing. And it's like now it's like, you know, I just want to stay healthy as long as possible. I don't want to wake up in the morning with dry mouth. You know, folks, whatever you do to your body the day before affects you the next day and the following day. So you've got to take all that into consideration, you know. I used to hate those nights where, well, I'd play poker with the guys. Then I had to work the next morning. And you wake up with a terrible hangover, and God, you can only call sick so often. And I would hardly ever call in sick because, you know, I always, you know, had good work ethic, you know. I always wanted to be the reliable person. Lucy says, I never liked the taste until I tried a dark beer, Lowenbrau, a German beer. Yeah, Lowenbrau's not bad. Lacey says it's a dark beer too, Tia. One is my limit, LOL. If it's not too personal, Lacey, how old are you? Are you like in your 40s or 50s or? 47, okay. So you're 2 years younger than my girlfriend Dawn and 3 years younger than me. Okay, cool. Yeah, yeah. So you're Gen X. We grew up around the same time. Wonderful. Thank you for being open and honest about that. Tia says, I don't drink anymore. I could not handle the hangovers after a while. Yeah, I don't blame you. You know, I think I may have to do a stream on the real effects of alcohol. You know, because some people can handle their alcohol. It's not that I couldn't handle my alcohol, I could. It's just that I didn't like being dehydrated and it wearing me down the next day. Like I was groggy for half the day. And not fun to be around, you know? And, you know, back in those days, it's like you hang out with the guys, and if you don't drink a few 2-3 beers, then they're like, come on, dude, have a beer with me. Come on, you Pussy. And you didn't drink beer, you were a pussy. Pardon my French. Now, if I had the confidence now I didn't have back then, I would tell my friends to go shove it up there, you know what, if they want to call me a Pussy for not drinking more beer. You guys are the Pussys, not me. I want to do the right thing for my health. You want to drain your sorrows away because you're fucking miserable. I guess I was miserable too for a while. I guess we all go through a miserable state, right? And then we have our moment, right? We all have our moment with alcohol, and then we all get to the point of at some point, and we're like, we don't want to do this to ourselves anymore, right? Lucy says, well, sorry, Lacey, sorry, I keep screwing it up, I'm sorry. I can't, it makes me instantly sleepy. Yeah, I hear you. We may get a few minutes on the observation deck today. Look at that. Such a beautiful day. Tia says, Lacey, it was good at first, then I became a drag to be around. I was more quiet instead of upbeat. Yeah, you know, I wasn't really depressed when I used to drink a lot of beer in my 20s. I was just trying to be cool with the guys, and I'm like, man, what a stupid reason to try to be cool in the first place, right? You should never try, like the topic today, you should never try to be anything but be yourself. And always be yourself, no matter what. Even on social media. See, I know a lot of these stories that I share, they're like proverbs. A lot of people get bored hearing this, but the truth of the matter is most of you people are struggling to understand what I'm saying here. Lacey says, Tia, just the opposite of what you would think alcohol would do. Yeah. Beautiful. Let's start heading back so I can get back home and spend some time with my lady. 1 3/4 miles out, now 1 3/4 miles back. Whew, man, that sun is so bright. Look at that. If I didn't have my shades on, I'd be blind right now. I'm almost blinded even with my shades on. That sun is just so bright. You know, I was thinking today, that a lot of the shows I've done lately, there's been a lot of pauses and gaps in them. And I was sitting there and thinking to myself, what's really going on? Am I running out of content? What is going on, right? And I started to realize I'm not running out of content. I'll never run out of content. What I'm starting to realize is that I am finally so immune to dumb shit and drama that it doesn't faze me at all. Like nothing triggers me anymore. Nothing like riles me up really anymore. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying I'm never going to react to something again. You never know. But like, I've really gotten to such a high level of peace within myself. And I've always been at peace with myself offline for the most part, probably since my late 20s, early 30s. You know, I've been at peace. Before that time, I was still learning a lot about life, and I was still doing a lot more dumb shit than I do today. I still do dumb shit, but far less. ODN, how are you doing? Welcome to the show. Great to see you here. I hope you're doing well and you're driving safe out on your adventures, broski. Yo, Tia, says ODN. And, you know, I like the feeling of just being relaxed, not stressed out, not being triggered, not letting anything faze me. It's an incredibly amazing and wonderful, overwhelming feeling in a good way, in a great way. I got somebody coming here. Let me stop and let them pass on by. Look at how green this is. And we really haven't had any rain. This is just coming off of the wetlands, coming off of the SF Bay. We got a good amount of water a couple years ago, and we got an okay amount of water last year. Before that, we were dry as hell for ages, but yeah, last 2 years, you know, put us in a really good position with our water reserves here in California. And, you know, like, I'm in awe of the beauty when I walk this trail every day. And I don't take things for granted like this anymore. I just feel very fortunate to have this nice trail I can do. You know, a 3.5 mile to sometimes 4 mile walk daily. It's like about 2.5 miles from home on the other side of town. And it's close enough to home, but far enough away to where I feel I'm just getting away to decompress for a little bit. And it's not getting away from my girlfriend, Dawn. Even when I was single, you got to get out of the house. You got to get out and decompress and let those endorphins kick in and be around people and socialize. That's another problem I need to talk about is the antisocial people we're dealing with nowadays. That's a nice plane. I think I would have made a good cinematographer. It would be fun to take an e-bike on. Yeah, I don't really like those e-bikes on the trails. That's a nice trail. I would think more people would be out. It just depends, it just depends on the day, the time of year, etc. Depends what events are happening here in Redwood City or in the area. On the weekdays around this time, it'd be busy. Now, it'll start getting, like, this is the funny thing. It starts getting busier, like, literally 45 minutes before the sun sets. That's what I've been noticing. I don't let the BS bother me either. What aggravates me is the lies people say. I at least have a clear conscience and I am good with God. Let me wait for this person that's coming back to pass me and then I'll keep going. We are at 52 minutes. Still plenty of sun. We've got at least, I'd say, another hour and 10, hour and 15 minutes of sun left. Of daylight. Yeah, Tia, oh, sorry, I don't know if that cut me off. Yeah, Tia, I'm good with God too. Obviously, my father was a God-loving man, the cantor of our Greek Orthodox Church, who would sing the hymns along with the priest for 45 years before he passed away at the church before an Easter service liturgy started. Talk about live by the sword, die by the sword. My dad passed away peacefully, unexpected, at the place he loves the most, the church. You can't, I don't think you can go out any better way, in my opinion, If you gotta go, you gotta go. Obviously, we're all gonna go sometime, but, that was a rough day. I think back over 14 years ago, and obviously I've had a lot of time to grieve over this and process it and all that. But, yeah, my dad was one hell of a role model. And he made a lot of mistakes growing up. But, once he got married and had my brother and I, he really took care of my mother, my brother and I. Him and my mother together, they were a great team. And I'm so grateful and thankful for that, And sometimes, I've taken it for granted. But at the same time, I see other people that are struggling, just to make friends or fit in, or they always have a piss poor attitude, or they're always trying to one up you and stuff like that. I've seen a lot of people like that on YouTube. And I feel bad for them because I know the reason why they're like that. They didn't have the best upbringing, right? Some of them may admit it, but a lot of them won't never admit that their upbringing is what made them this way, right? And that's why, it's like my mother's still around. I don't take her for granted at all. I'm just trying to make up, you know, I'm trying to make up, for the many times I took my father for granted. I'm trying to make that up, through my mother, while she's still around. Your dad is a good man, says ODN. I just got to my new pad in Orlando. Gosh, I can't stand the weather here already. I don't know how long I'm going to be able to do this one. Is it very humid there? Because isn't Tia in Florida too? Thank you for the compliment about my dad, ODN. Tia, oh my gosh, he really was a good man. God bless him. Thank you. Thank you so much, Tia. Lacey, last time I was in Orlando, they had mosquitoes the size of bats. LOL. Wow. He still is a good man and he watches over you. Thank you, ODN. You're right. I believe that also. ODN says, Tia. ODN says, I don't like it here, man. I've been to Pensacola before, but never to Orlando. It's different down here. Well, Orlando is a place where, don't they have like a beach right around there where like all the hot girls go and they're prissy and all the girls get like Botox and boob jobs there and all that stuff, right? It's a very prissy type environment in Orlando is what I hear. It's almost kind of like a mini San Francisco. It's like a big fashion show, right, ODN? I live in Wisconsin. Oh, sorry, Tia. I'm sorry. My fault. I'm sorry. That's right. You're in Wisconsin. There was someone else that was in. It was your former friend that was in Florida. That is in Florida. I'm sorry about that. Sorry about that, Tia. ODN Pensacola was weird. They had midgets and bodybuilders running around everywhere, but this place is just as bad, if not weirder. I understand all the rumors about Florida now. Well, broski, broski, I gotta tell you, I read your language very loud and clear, and I think other people can read your language and interpret your verbiage, right? Yeah. It's a veiled way of saying it, right? Like people say that I make veiled threats. No, I don't make veiled threats. I speak the truth. I give people good advice because I've made lots of mistakes, and learning from my mistakes, I can tell if other people don't stop doing certain things, the walls are going to come crashing down, right? Or the walls will close in on you, right? I guess you can say it's a veiled way of saying it, right? It has an underlying meaning, right, ODN? It's all good, ODN. Listen, man, no one's perfect. No one's perfect. That's okay, Eli. Oh, thank you, Tia. I appreciate that. I'm sorry I make mistakes. I could not handle the weather or the bugs in Florida. Mosquitoes are big as bats. Hell no, says Tia. I just got to do some work down here, man. So are you renting a place, Odian? Like what do you do? Do you get what do you call it? I can't remember what that company is. Where people can list their properties for long-term renting. I forgot what it's called. Somebody help me out. I got a hotel right now, but eventually I got to find somewhere I can stay because I plan on being here for a minute. Okay. Ah. I'm gonna try to get a studio show hopefully sometime this weekend. I'll be honest, I just haven't had the energy or desire to do 2 shows a day. It's not that I don't enjoy doing it. I've just had other things that are a greater priority. And I'm just putting other things ahead of the YouTube business, you know? When you're in a relationship, folks, you figure it out as you go. You got to make adjustments. You got to communicate with your partner. You know, some days are gonna be crazier than others, right? But it's all about love. When you really love someone, no matter what happens, you both find a way. You both find a way to keep going at everything. So I'm trying to really motivate and inspire people. Whoops. I'm trying to really motivate and inspire people to just be more of who you are. No matter what, even on social media, be who you are. I was watching this documentary on, I was watching on Disney Plus, but it's also on Hulu, and Disney has owned Hulu now for a while, so it was a Hulu documentary. And it was about this chick in 8th grade back in like 2002 or 2003, right when digital cameras started recording video like in standard definition. HD was not even out yet, you know, in that capacity. It was just coming out for TVs, but we didn't have HD cameras. It was standard definition. And she took a video of her doing something with a Swiffer, the Swiffer cleaner mop thingy, right? So they started to nickname her the Swiffer girl or the Swiffer chick or something, right? It's the Swiffer girl. And later on down the road, this woman came from a very wealthy family. I can't remember what her name was. I'll mention this like on the next show. She came from a wealthy family, and she was basically stealing people's checks and basically writing checks to herself and cashing them. And she defrauded many people, but she didn't need the money because she came from a wealthy family. They gave her everything. And people were saying, why did she do it? She did it because of the thrill, right? It's just really, really weird why some people do things. It's because you can have everything in the world. You can have all the money in the world, the best clothes, the nicest house, the best cars, the hottest boyfriend or girlfriend, husband or wife. You can have all of that perfect and still be miserable, right? What I always have tried to tell people is that your net worth doesn't define your self-worth. Let me say this one more time. Your net worth doesn't define your self-worth. What defines your self-worth is how you see yourself. No matter what happens, how you see yourself. Take things one day at a time. Stride by stride, like I do on the walking trail, right? Because I've seen so many people with lots of money, and they're the most miserable fucking people on the planet. And I don't have a whole lot of money, but I'm actually a happy person. Go fucking figure, right? Lacey says, social media has made it hard to be yourself and still remain anonymous. My daughter goes on camera with her crafts, but I don't. Well, here's the thing. We are going from an age of where people were anonymous to an age where if you're anonymous, you don't reach success really. Unless you do some AI stuff. But here's the thing. The AI stuff took off, started taking off last year and really has taken off the beginning of this year. But I think AI is going to die. I think AI is going to get boring very fast because AI is not real. It's artificial. That's not what people want. People want it raw and real. This is the real me. I'm Elias Melas. People know where I live. People know what car I drive. People know everything about me. And you know what? I could give a fuck less. What are they going to do? Right? What are they going to do? Right? I understand to the people that want to remain anonymous. I get it. I don't have a problem. I've never had a problem showing myself, but I've also dealt with so much on this platform and I've built such a thick skin that nothing anyone says or does bothers me at all. Nothing at all. I just don't give a shit anymore about what other people think. And that's the attitude people need to have. And I'm not saying to not give a shit about those that care about you, but in general, the only opinion of yourself that should really only matter is your own opinion. The only opinion of you that should really matter is your own opinion. The only opinion of yourself that should matter is your own. There you go. Better way to put it. ODN says, exactly, you have enough guts to get on camera and give everyone a real product. It's unfortunate some people have to try and steal your product because they can't think of anything else on their own. ODN says that. Lacey says AI has been around a long time. It's just making itself more known now. Well, it's been around a long time, but it hasn't been able to do what it does now. They were testing AI for a while. Facebook was testing VR, virtual reality, which I think they stopped that project. I don't think virtual reality is ever going to take off. But virtual reality was on the forefront as part of artificial intelligence. I think a lot of people took what Mark Zuckerberg was trying to create for Facebook, now known as Meta, and made it better. To the point of where you don't need virtual reality glasses. You don't need to actually feel like you've got virtual people in your living room with you, giving you like a virtual high five, right? No, you're right. AI has been around for a very long time, but it has not been able to do what it does now. Until now. Until the last few years or so. Heck, now you've even got programs like StreamYard that have virtual green screens to the point of where it's not perfect, but you can get an okay green screen without having the green screen felt and have it light it up. Now, I do the real thing because I like better quality. I've got a real green screen and lights in my studio, and I don't broadcast through StreamYard. I broadcast through OBS at home. I'll use StreamYard integrated through OBS to bring people on, but I broadcast through OBS and I can broadcast in higher quality. It keeps advancing, no telling where it will go, says Lacey. Yeah, you're right. You're absolutely right, Lacey. And as far as, wanting to remain anonymous, I can understand that. But for me, I don't watch creators that don't show their face. If you don't show your face, if I can't see who you are, then I'm just flat out not going to support you. And nowadays, if you're doing a podcast and you don't simulcast it on YouTube, I won't listen to your podcast. I want to watch it. Whether I listen to it or not, I want to listen to it through YouTube. And if I can watch it at times, I want to be able to watch it. Taking the day off yesterday and then doing the whole 3.5 miles, man, I'm feeling it, but I think it's because I haven't eaten enough today. I'm gonna make something really nice tonight with ground beef for Dawn and I. Yeah, ODN, I hear you, That's just the way the world's become, ODN. Like, I've seen a lot of copycats all over social media. I thought I heard a plane, but I don't see it. Oh, it's over there. It's a jet, or it's a full-size plane. Okay. That's why I could hear it so loud from a distance. I just couldn't see it till I looked over there. Do do do. Do 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 do. Do 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 do. Oh, here's another one. Yeah, traffic on 101 is moving nicely. Seems to be a pretty chill day here in the San Francisco Bay Area, at least in Redwood City. If you're in the San Francisco area, forget about it. You ain't moving. It'll take you over an hour to get home, maybe longer. So they're still working on this here. I mean, I wonder if this is going to be the extension of the SF Bay Trail. I still don't know what the hell they're doing here. They've been working on this for a couple years now, at least. But they can't get rid of this trail. This is protected wildlife. Always be yourself, folks. Because if you pretend to be something that you're not, eventually you're going to be found out and you're going to lose support, you're going to lose friends, you might lose a boyfriend or girlfriend, all right? Husband or wife. You should never build on a lie on top of a lie on top of a lie on top of a lie. You should never build that way because, you know, that's going to just come crashing down at some point. You know, I always felt this way when I first started doing YouTube full time, almost about 6.5 years ago, not quite 7, about 6.5 years ago. And I had been on the platform for years before that, doing other stuff. But my first attempt to go full time was about 6.5 years ago. And my intentions were always to be raw and real and to be honest. I didn't know about trolls and haters. I didn't know how crazy and sick some fucking people are out here. I didn't know that. I soon afterwards learned that. But my intentions have always been to be myself and to connect with people and relate to people and help people through my journeys of lots of failures and some successes based off of learning from those failures. And again, I'd like to encourage as many of you as possible. If you haven't already gone down that route, try it out. Because until you try it out, You're not going to know how it's going to pan out. It might work better for you than what you're currently doing right now. But you're never going to know until you try. I'm always willing to try new things. I've done several rebrands over the years, and I think this is the one I'm going to stick with. So when I started the January Networking Association in 2011, it was more so in person back then, but I recorded our public speakers at our events and I put them on YouTube. There's always been a high tech side to this. We would call it taking high tech and high touch business relationships to the next level. So basically, we would combine, online platforms like Facebook and LinkedIn and YouTube and Twitter, along with in-person networking events to network and meet people and to create a nice, trustworthy referral base. That might be Ramon. It is not Ramon. Ramon will probably be out here within the next 20 to 30 minutes, or I might see him on the way out. Or maybe Ramon will take the day off from a walk. It happens to all of us every now and then. We're getting closer towards the end here, so folks, start getting your final questions, comments, or concerns in the chat. Right when I get to the car, I'll be making a hard stop because I want to spend some more time with my lady tonight and kind of make some dinner. And it's going to take a little bit of time. And so get those questions in right now if you like. Lacey says, my daughter is a real people person. I have to remind her not to talk about her family so much. There are some crazy people on social media. What you're saying about your daughter, I respect about her. She has balls. Even though she's female, she's got guts. Let's put it that way. She wants to be real, right? She wants to be authentic, right? The only way you can be authentic, Lacey, is to show your face, use your real name, talk about your family. And yes, people can do background checks on you and find out everything about you and your family. And they can do crazy, stupid, dumb shit like they've done to myself and Don and many other people I care for. Everybody goes through that. And then when it happens a few times, it's like, whatever, what the fuck? I just don't care. Then you learn. You learn how to better handle yourself to the point of where people do stupid stuff. It's not going to get them the same, traction it once did. Like I used to react and overreact to all the dumb shit some people would do out here. I just don't anymore. I don't care. I'm sharing this with you right now as an example because, you're saying your daughter, is being raw and real. She's a people person. She's not a people pleaser. Sounds like she's a people person and she wants to be honest and genuine and authentic and truly relate to people. And there are crazy people out here, but more so than crazy are jealous, immature, insecure people that will try to exploit anyone or anything for content and money. It all boils down to money. Whatever can make people money, right? Now, I want to make money too. I'm running a business, but I'm not going to do stupid shit to make money. And if I make less money while I continue to grow, then so be it. One day, this business will make the right amount of money the proper way, you know? So, most people don't have the time or patience. It's not even the time. They don't have the patience. To do it the right way and make it sustainable long term. That's why now I feel the creators are still around that are willing to create real, authentic content, show their face, use their name. And listen, my family is everything to me. The people closest to me are the ones I care a lot about, and why would I not want to talk about them and share my happiness with them, with the world? But now, people are like, whoa, why are you talking about your family or our family? Why are you talking about us on the internet? Because I got good people here, and it makes me happy to talk about you folks. And it sucks that there are some immature, insecure, and mentally and emotionally unstable people out here that may come and attack you just because you're related to me in some way, shape, or form. Just because they're jealous of what we're doing and we're on our way to being successful, and they're going to try to do whatever they can to stop us. I swear to God, over the last 6.5 years, the way a lot of people came at me from certain groups, honestly, would have just destroyed most other people, and they would have left YouTube. I'm here, and to all of those people I say a big F you, right? A big F you to all of you, right? And that's all you got to do, Lacey, is say, hey, I don't care. I don't care if my daughter or people that I love are good people creating good content. They talk about me and they want to create good content talking about me, which is what I'm trying to say. So what? I've had people in the past, they've sent pizzas and this and that to the point of where, I had to call all the pizzerias in the area, and it was also reported to the police and the sheriff. Because a lot of people would call a bunch of cash on delivery pizzas, like 10 COD pizzas, right? Now, if you're a pizzeria nowadays and you just take some random call to make 10 large pizzas and you're going to pay cash on delivery, I would never ever take that order nowadays. I would never take that order. Because if that order isn't real, then you're out a lot of money, right? I think a lot of those pizzerias learned their lesson. And a lot of them nowadays will not do COD. They will not do COD over a certain amount. Now, if you order, a $20 or $30 pizza for delivery, maybe so. But come on. If you're going to order 10 pizzas, that's going to be like large. That's going to be anywhere from like $250 to $300, depending on the pizza. I thought most places are pay up front. Well, they are. Now they are, but they didn't used to be that way. When I was, growing up in my, late teens and early 20s, I would call for Domino's and I didn't have any credit cards or anything. I would just pay cash. Now, you can even do COD through DoorDash and Uber, but the drivers get to select whether they want to opt in or opt out of COD orders. If you opt out, they won't send you any orders that are COD. I used to drive for them a little bit a couple years back, almost 2 years ago. I'm going to wait for a few people to pass on by. If I ran a pizzeria, I would never take COD nowadays. I wouldn't even take checks. I would only take debit or credit. That's it. That's all you need. Debit or credit. Get your final questions, comments, or concerns in the chat. We're going off the air in less than 5 minutes. I'm heading back to the parking lot, and I'm going to have a hard stop right when I get back to my car. Thank you for visiting, John. Sun's starting to go down. Okay. There's a guy coming over here, so I'm trying to. All right. I want to wrap up by saying this, folks. Just be yourself. Don't pretend to be something you're not. Even if you think it's going to get you ahead in life, personally and or professionally, it's gonna fall apart at some point. At some point, the real you will come out one way or another. Best thing to do is just start out being yourself and building more upon who you are and bettering your real self. Not pretending to be something you're not just because it's getting you ahead in some way, shape, or form for the time being. Your time will come. Your time will come. Let's see. Tia. Thank you, Eli. Enjoy your night with Dawn. Everyone take care. Yeah, thank you so much. Thank you so much, Tia, for being here. And Lacey, thank you so much for being here as well. It's great to see you after not being around for a year. That's awesome. Have a good night, Tia, says Lacey. ODN, thank you so much for being here. We are at 94 minutes, an hour and 34 minutes. Thanks, Lacey, says Tia. All right, folks. It's going to wrap it up. Again, be yourself. There's nothing better than being your real self. Be yourself and build upon yourself. And if you're not happy with who you are, then better yourself. Look yourself in the mirror and start making corrections that you feel are going to make you feel better about yourself. Whether it's physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, whatever it is, you can turn it around. You also, Lacey. Have a good one. Take care, and as always, be good to each other.